Come enchanted evening, when you find your true love, when you feel her call you across a crowded room, then fly to her side and make her your own, or all through your life you may dream all alone. Once you have found her, never let her go. Once you have found her, never let her go.
Bravo.
Thank you. You too. I want to introduce you to our new music director, Gerald Sternbach. I want to say a little about Jerry before we have a little conversation.
Okay.
So let me embarrass you with the riches of your bio. And what I
Okay.
want to do, actually, because
My mother will be happy.
the candles will definitely burn out if I read the whole bio, so I'll summarize a little of it, if I may. Let me put this mic down. So let me speak to you and tell you about Gerald, Jerry. He's earned 13 Ovation nominations. In 2015, Jerry made his London debut in something you may have seen on stage or on HBO. It was called One Night Only with Mel Brooks. He performed it at the Geffen Theater and filmed it for HBO. Also at the Geffen, he did Carrie Fisher's one-woman show called Wishful Drinking. Other Southern California credits that you may have seen and heard: LA Philharmonic debut at the Hollywood Bowl. He was the pianist for Stephen Sondheim's 75th birthday concert.
Birthday.
Conducting 20 shows for Reprise, Grey Gardens. He was associate conductor for the LA premiere at the Amundsen, Sondheim on Sondheim, the Southern California premiere. He was at an ASCAP event honoring Stephen Schwartz at the Wallace Annenberg Theater. That featured Idina Menzel, Megan Hilty, Liz Calloway, Jordan Fisher, and Andrea Martin. Other credits, I'm still reading your bio.
Oh my gosh.
Associate conductor for Seven Brides, for Seven Brothers, and Merlin and the Tap Dance Kid, all on Broadway. Les Miserables, the LA premiere company. He was conductor for...
That was the long version, by the way.
It was?
That was the 3-hour, 15-minute
There was,
version.
right. There was the Andrew Lloyd Webber's Song and Dance.
With Melissa Manchester.
Melissa National Tour. He's worked with the likes of Leslie Odom Jr., Marilyn Horne, Jennifer Hudson, Josh Groban, Sarah Brightman, Carol Burnett, Adam Lambert, Nancy Wilson, John Lithgow, and Judith Light. And he's in the ongoing production wherein Jerry's the pianist for Frank Ferrante in a show that's going to be seen on PBS. You really should see it. I've seen clips. It's fantastic. And it's called An Evening with Groucho. Jerry's also written his own musicals. You'll hear more about that later. I want to just point to one that we'll talk about tonight, which is a musical called Witnesses. And Jerry could talk about that and maybe play a little music from it. In addition to all of these accolades, Jerry has also written music and played music on stage, on television, for award shows. You've certainly seen and heard him, and can now in our own home, where he is the music director at Valley Outreach Synagogue. So, Jerry,
Yes,
that's
sir.
a lot. How did you come to this career? Really, what was the origin? Did you grow up in a musical family?
I grew up in a family that appreciated music.
What kind of music were you listening to?
Oh my gosh. Well, my father, may he rest in peace, my father was the type of person we had the Toscanini Beethoven symphonies. And we had Benny Goodman's, the Carnegie Hall concert. My father took me to see Beverly Hills when the New York City Opera came out to LA. Took me to see Hello Dolly, my very first musical with Carol Channing at the Dorothy Chandler. My mother loves music. She just loves singing. I would sit and play piano, and I would just, we would sing all the, musical theater. And my father was into this, very sophisticated stuff. My mother loved Percy Faith. She loved Moore. She loved all those, the easygoing, the easy listening stuff. So.
And does Mom still enjoy music?
Definitely. She's what she can hear, she loves. So bless her.
So Mom
heart.
is today 95 or 96?
My mother is 96, born in 1925. She will be 97 on March 10th.
Right. God willing. Good.
God, really, my God, the spirit. She's so feisty.
And Mom lives around the corner in West Hills.
She lives in West Hills, yes,
Yeah.
in the same house I grew up in.
So you grew up, if I'm right, you told me that you grew up synagogue-wise at Beth Kodesh.
Oh, yes, Beth Kodesh, which was in, I guess it was considered Canoga Park then.
Right.
And with Avram Schwartz, may he rest in peace, a wonderful teacher, wonderful chazan, and our Rabbi Eli Shochet, who was just a wonderful teacher and a great inspiration. So
to me
loved
as
being
well.
around the temple, loved it.
And how did you go from boy in Hebrew school to music director of Valley Outreach Synagogue? What do you think the Jewish journey is there, the thread?
That's a long journey, Rabbi. I think I've always appreciated music, and I always accompanied. I would accompany people in the shul. I'd accompany people in elementary school, junior high school, high school. I would play for people's auditions at Cal State Northridge in the opera department when I was just just graduating high school, and they would say, "Yeah, you're good. Who's the guy at the piano?" So then I went and did a lot of what we called Equity Waiver Theater at the time.
Right.
And, but I was always doing stuff, at shul or playing things or organizing little concerts, and went to Hebrew high school, went to Israel on Ulpan, continued doing every so often little temple gigs once in a while.
Right, High Holy Days
High
and
Holy
Shabbat
Days,
services.
I did, I played for a cantorial soloist, a wonderful soloist named Noah Shashuet called Tikva. She's a wonderful soloist. I love all of this music. I've always have.
You've written music, you've written songs for shows, songs for award shows, song for Carol Burnett, fantastic song that I saw Eric McCormick perform. You've written, I want to ask you about one particular show that's near and dear to your heart and moving to me as well, which is called Witnesses.
Yes. Oh my. Well, Witnesses is a thrilling project that I'm being involved with. It started, I've been writing 3 songs. Let backtrack. This is a collection of, I'm not going to say a song cycle, but it's a glorified song cycle. It's based on the diaries of 5 young people who were killed, murdered in the Holocaust. There have been many diaries that have been found. Anne Frank's is one that a lot of people know. It's been a famous play. It's been a famous movie. It was also in this book called We Are Witnesses, and with the other diaries. What Jordan Beck, my collaborator on the music that we chose, we are writing the music. We wrote 3 songs based on the diary of a gentleman named David Dovid Rabinowitz. There are 5 diaries: 2 women, 2 young women, 3 boys.
Jerry, when you say young, what ages were they? Were these
I
teenagers?
think the diaries start around 13. And I think the last entry is of one of the children who died at 18, who was murdered in the concentration camp. And their relatives, even a mother found a diary, sisters, family found these diaries. And they had the wonderful idea of having teams write songs for each of the diaries. There are Jordan Beck and I collaborating on one. There is Adam Gwan, who's writing another diary. There's great people who are writing. We had Anna K. Jacobs writing a diary. We had Mindy Dickstein, who some of you may know wrote the words to Little Women, that famous musical, and in collaboration with Carmel Dean. So we have a great team of great people working on this
And
show.
how did you arrive at the songs? Are the songs taken verbatim out of the diary,
No.
the children's words?
We were each of the teams, we were given an assignment to write 3 songs. You read the diary, and you read a song from the beginning, a middle, and just to create some sort of arc. There was always going to be a through line in which the diaries intersect. None of these children met each other, but this will be an ensemble of young people. It's astonishing to me that a lot of people, a lot of generation, a lot of young people, a lot of politicians, if I may, don't even know what the Holocaust is or was.
Right, around the world.
And I think it is our obligation to have people remember what actually happened, so that if someone compares anything to the Holocaust, they have a real context about what that means.
Right.
And I think this show witnesses. They're all witnesses, and we, as young people, as writers, as Jews in present time, we have to remind people we are witnesses about an existing level of horrific behavior and activity that should not ever be allowed to happen in a human society ever again.
There was recently, I was reading an article on one of the hate groups where one of their slogans was, the Holocaust never happened and it needs to happen again. So we're living in that kind of...
You know, we had people who were in the halls of Congress wearing an Auschwitz t-shirt. I'm incredulous about things. And you still have to remind young people, there's still a lot of young people who are not educated about it.
Right.
And I think this play, and I'm going to call it a play, I have to mention the wonderful work of Robert Friedman, who is a wonderful Tony Award-winning book writer who has taken a lot of the material of the diaries and done a through line. And he's done a magnificent job of integrating a lot of the diary entries within each other, and then we've created our songs. And they, of course, it's not one person's story, it's all the stories happening. It's quite thrilling. And we are going to be doing this in Escondido, the world premiere. We've done a reading. We're going to do the world premiere in the California Center for Performing Arts in Escondido. I think in June or July, I'm not sure. Please check the website. I know I'm going to be orchestrating and working on it until then. But it's very thrilling, and hopefully I think this will be something that will be a perennial and something that will be ongoing to be
Maybe
performed.
we can do some of it or all of it here.
Possibly.
Jerry, I want to ask you, before we hear a song from the play, Witnesses, one of the things that you do and one of your loves is working with kids.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Well, I've always liked working with kids. I'm presently also a teacher, musical theater at Cal CS Arts Duarte. Of course, I worked in colleges, but this is Performing Arts Magnet in Duarte near the City of Hope, just past Pasadena. And I work with a wonderful director, gentleman named Joey Ancona. And this is a group of amazingly diverse young people, high schoolers. We're presently doing a production of The Me Nobody Knows, you know, under my watch. We're not going to do Guys and Dolls or Hairspray. I want something that there's not star-driven. I want something that's ensemble-driven and a point-driven.
Yeah,
and that's why
something we always look for
The
here
Me
as
Nobody
well.
Knows.
All right. If you would tell us a little about the song, and then we have the pleasure of hearing.
Oh, great. Okay, well, you all will be hopefully enjoying this song. This is a song that Jordan and I wrote. David Rabinowitz, one of the characters, sings it. He has had a contentious relationship with his father in the diary entries, and at one point even articulates that, that he's angry at his father, and I don't think he articulates it as wishes his father dead, but he is very mad at his father. But then, of course, when people are being taken away and you don't know where they're going, and your friends are being taken away, and your family, you don't know what's going on. And here is this, his father comes back, and he has an overwhelming group of feelings that come to him, that come through him about his feelings about his father and about his future.
And the song is called?
Just like in a film, like in a film. So the family is all celebrating, and the ensemble, we see them praying. David sings, a happy day, father has been released. He doesn't look all that bad, though his arm's in a sling. I'm so glad it's not worse, and it's why he is home again. It's truly a blessing, his injury saved him. My family rejoices as I hear them sing. They all sing, Shema Yisrael, Shema Yisrael. David, our flat was soon flooded with people, all there to hear the good news. It's a welcome relief from the pain and the grief we are constantly feeling as Jews. I stand there and watch as more friends arrive. I still can't believe my papa's alive. It was like in a film where things move so fast. With every moment, a moment passed. The joy in the room, not knowing for sure how long it would last, it all was a blur, just like in a film. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We stayed up till 2 in the morning, listening to Father's account, hearing all he went through. Now I know it is true, there is nothing that we can't surmount. It's hard to describe, it hardly feels real. You had to have been there to know how I feel. The hours they fly, as we laugh, as we cry. You don't even notice the time passing by. Like in a film, the camera takes aim and captures a memory on every frame. You take it all in, watch it unfold. Before your own eyes, your story gets told. We're part of a cast as long as we last, just like in a film. And you see, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And on David, just like in a film.